Welcome to Classes of Mail. Before you listen, you should know that Alan Gigax is not in any sense an official spokesman for the post office, the NALC, or anybody else. His opinions are inherently his own and should probably be disregarded. Same for his guests. Any information you hear on this podcast could be wrong and should not be relied upon for any reason. Enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Classes of Mail. My name is Alan Gigax, and I am here with Howard Komine.
Aloha.
Hey, right on. Yes, and he says aloha because he is from Hawaii. Howard is the president of Branch 860 in Honolulu, and we're going to talk about your branch a little bit as we go on. But the main reason you're here, of course, is because you are a candidate for trustee on the CLC slate, and you're also the CLC's director of fundraising.
Right.
All right, cool. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the fundraising. So you were, in talking to you before this, I found out that you were also a trustee for a while in your branch in Hawaii.
Yes, sir.
So talk a little bit about what a trustee does and how your experience as a trustee in Honolulu will translate to being a trustee nationally.
Sure. Being a branch trustee, you actually overlook the monies that come in and the monies that go out. And, not a rubber stamp. You in question, why is this payment being paid out? What is the reason for? Why is Johnny getting lost time? Or why are we paying for this equipment? And you ask those questions and you hold the president accountable. As a national trustee, although it's a lot more money and you're overlooking a whole lot more stuff with the health plan and the MBA and making sure our monies are being spent properly. And with the leadership, that the leadership communicates that to the executive council so they can talk about all this money being spent or not being spent for the betterment of every letter carrier.
Yeah, I mean, the NALC is like a $100 million organization or more. They have this tremendous bankroll.
Yes, sir.
And somebody has to look over that stuff. When you see things like, the president or whoever, like a business agent traveled and they're staying at the Hilton instead of the Motel 6 or things like that, like that's where the trustee comes in.
Right.
What are we doing with this money?
No, exactly. And it seems lately there's a lot of money being spent.
Yeah.
We got 30 assistants to the president and we got 5 national officers not doing their job. And it's shameful. And so we need to look at, how are they being approved, or does the national president just has a blank check that he can spend every month? And it adds up to millions, not just, from bodyguards to everything else. Who approves that?
It's such a great question.
Right.
It seems like the president now, Renfro, does a lot of action unilaterally. Where
Yes,
he
sir.
does not get the approval of the executive board.
Yes, sir.
And
Or communicate that to his people, and then that can communicate to all of us.
Right.
I mean, we're all in the dark, and I'm sure national officers are all in the dark also. I mean,
we know because we have people in the room who talk about their experience. People like James Henry, obviously.
Right,
Mike
right.
Cariff talks about it. And the guy just runs amok and does whatever he feels like doing. And he doesn't even care whether the executive board approves it or even knows about it.
yes, sir. And that, you're talking a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a trustee that just rubber stamps that comes from a law department or, like the health plan.
Right.
I mean, are we aggressively getting more people from the letter carriers to be in the health plan? I mean, health prices are going out the roof. And, if we got every member being a part of the health plan, our health plan would go down. And it would be actually like a we'd make a lot more money.
Right. Yeah, it benefits the carriers.
Yes, sir.
And obviously, the more carriers we have in that pool, the bigger our bargaining power. And yeah, this is
and
a
the
big
cost will
expenditure.
go down.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
sir.
exactly right. And that's something that benefits carriers. So you've already touched on an issue a couple of times that I really want to dig into, which is this idea of a rubber stamp. So let me frame this a little bit. I ask this to a lot of CLC people when they come on. There's a concern that the people who are running on the CLC slate, you guys are all in the same ticket. You're all kind of buying into this idea together. And so there's a concern that once you get into this national office, that essentially anything James Henry wants to do is just a rubber stamp. And so what do you say, as someone who's a trustee, you've already mentioned, you're going to have this oversight role.
Right.
You know, why should my listeners have faith that you're actually going to stand up and you're going to say?
For me,
yeah.
I ain't gaining anything being a national trustee other than let's get this union where it needs to be.
Right.
I have known James Henry for over 30 years. And I think he trusts me that if I told him, hey, this is bullshit, we shouldn't be paying this, that he will do what needs to be done and listen to my advice. Right. Like I said, I've been branch president for 26 years. I've been around.
Right.
I might not say much. I might be quiet. Yes, I'm from Hawaii, where, you know, it's sunshine every day. It's not like living in Buffalo.
Right.
Oh, sorry, Dave. But, you know, other than that, I mean, he knows. I mean, leadership and friendship is two different things. And I don't give a shit. Tell you the truth, I don't care if he likes it or don't like it. I will talk the talk and explain myself with respect. But at the same time, you know, maybe charges need to be filed. Or, you know, some kind of communication that gets out there. And I think, you know, I know James and I know Corey. It's going to be where it's going to be an open book. It's going to be discussion among all of us because it's about teamwork. You know, teamwork is dream work. And if we can have dream work instead of all this crap that we're going through, it's going to make everybody better. And then it's going to be easier to fight for money and fight for benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I see of the CLC now, and one of the things that draws me to it, is you have these national officers now where their main objective is just like, keep your head down, don't rock the boat. I just want to stay in this position because it beats delivering the mail. Whereas CLC people, it seems like what draws them to the CLC is that they're not the kind of people who keep their head down and keep their mouth shut. You know, these are people who are aggressive and who push back.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, you know, I told you before, you know, when I first started, I got into leadership, the chief steward, vice president, very early in my career, right? I've been branch president for 26 years.
Wow.
I had the luxury of meeting and talking to people like Vince Sombrado, who put the letter carriers first. He would get rid of you if he was a national officer, but he put the letter carriers first. Did he rule with a strong fist? Yeah, I think. But he put the letter carriers first. There was no hidden agenda. Then, of course, we had Bill. And, you know, I mean, Bill was a good guy. He'd been up there supporting Sombrado for at least 20 years.
Right. This was former President Bill Young.
Yes, sir. Yep. Bill Young. And he was Region 1 business agent. He did a lot of good. And then we got Fred. And, you know, as time changes, personality changes, outlook changes. But where we are today, and it's about today, it's awful. We're being run over by management, and it's like I worked so hard to put us on this pedestal on the top of the mountain, and now we're on the bottom of the mountain because leadership is not fighting. I mean, we lost a carrier from heat exhaustion, and he never got the training that they said he did. I mean, somebody should fry.
Yeah. Where was the national grievance? Like we were told, oh, don't worry about it. We're going to handle it at the national level. Where was that?
No, it wasn't. I mean, we filed our grievances, and all our grievances got withdrawn. It's like, because it was all over the country. It was rampant that they lie. But I tell you what, if one of our carriers lie, they're emergency placed, they're fired, integrity, you know, all of this. And it starts with us, though. we got to clean up our stuff. We got to put monsters in there that's not going to take no shit from anybody and put us where we belong, on top of the mountain. I mean, Jesus, clerks make more money than us.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We've obviously backslid as a union. We're not the aggressive fighters we used to be. So let's talk about in your own branch. People can get a sense of your character from the way you run your own branch. And one of the things that we had talked about in the pre-interview is while you were president in Honolulu, you wound up absorbing other neighboring branches.
Sure. When I transferred, and just to let you know, I started in branch 1100.
Okay.
I started in Anaheim. I came out of Brookhurst Center Station, and that office, Manny Peralta came out of. Right. Charlie Miller came out of.
Yeah. James Henry, obviously.
No. This is the office.
Back then.
Not the branch.
It came
station. Out of that station.
Oh, wow.
So, I remember going in that office, new kid, PTF, young, and skinny. And I would, let's say pick up mail before I punched in. And, I was policed by 30 carriers. Hey, put that mail down. You don't touch mail until you punch in. And that was because of the leadership of Charlie Miller, the leadership of Manny Peralta, explaining that to the floor. So I understood the contract a whole lot more because most of those carriers out of that station knew the rules. So you figure now 3 years later, I transferred to branch 4837, which is an associate office on the central side of Oahu. And they had about 60 carriers. And it was like a free-for-all. There was no 3996. There was no grievances. I remember asking one of my buddies who became the steward with me.
On your 3996, can you just put island time?
Oh, no, he doesn't.
I'm on island time. I'd be back whenever.
Choke mail. And when I filled out the 96, the supervisor looked at me. He goes, "You don't need to fill that out."
Wow.
And I'm like, so I went to my buddy, Mike McGann. I said, "Hey, man, I think I'm going into penalty." And he goes, "Oh, no worry. Just work on." And I was like, "No, but in Anaheim, if you go in penalty, you get disciplined."
Right.
And he goes, "Not here. You can work as many hours as you like."
Oh, my God.
And so I actually worked there, and I was doing my thing, and I just didn't think it was right. So I started questioning, and then the big branch was branch 860, and they had about 500 carriers. And I would seek to that president, who was an older guy, and I would ask questions when we had training, and he says, "No, that's not right. You need to file." Right. So anyway, long story short.
So were you a steward at this time?
Yes, okay. I was a steward at 4837.
All right.
And I gotta say, and no offense to any letter carrier across the country, 97% of the carriers in Hawaii work. Work. I mean, young ladies, young girls, short girls, and I think it's cultural because we all were immigrants, Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, and so we work. They work hard, and was a good. I remember in Anaheim, you curtail mail because you took 8 hours of work. In Hawaii, if you curtailed mail, you was kind of looked upon like you were lazy. But so the whole different mindset, right? What your reference volume was, etc. So eventually, I kind of made a name for myself, and the president of Branch 860 kept telling me, "Why don't you come? You live in town. Why don't you transfer?" And I could really use you. So in 1993, I don't know if you remember this, but it came out with they had openings and you could almost put in for an opening and you wouldn't have to be a PTF. This was
sure.
So this was when we started with TEs.
Okay.
So you had regulars got to transfer as regulars, which never used to happen.
Right.
Before, when I transferred from Anaheim to Hawaii, I had to go a PTF again.
Right.
So I was a PTF twice, and then when I transferred, I noticed one of the carriers wanted to come out where I was at, so we swapped. So we saved my seniority. So I ended up going to the city, and before you know it, I was the roving steward, went to different offices because I was pretty highly aggressive. I mean, if I didn't make the manager cry, I didn't do my job. And there were men then. It wasn't women, it were men. And that's so, great. I did what I did, and very successful. And then I became the chief steward, vice president, chief steward. And in that meantime, I was a trustee at a branch. I was a sergeant of arms at a branch. And then I became the chief steward. I was probably like 36, 35. And I had stewards that were 40, 50, and I would give them direction. And like I said, it's all about leadership, yeah? It's not about age. It's not about friendship. It's about what I expect from you. I expect you to represent the carriers the right way.
That's it.
And know the contract.
Right.
If,
that's the number one job. That's the job.
And so, we had really good people. And before you know it, the president, Genichi Matsumoto, who drew me into Branch 860, eventually retired, and I became president in 1999.
Wow. Yeah. All right. So the original question was merging with the other branches.
Oh, yeah. So when I became the branch president, because when I was at Wahiawa 4837, I would seek help. And I couldn't understand why this little branch was by themselves.
Right.
And then I found out that all the areas in Hawaii, Pearl City, Waipahu, Waianae, Kailua, Kaneohe, everybody had their own branch.
These were all places like on the same island.
Yes.
Would be separate branches.
So we had about 15 branches.
Wow.
And Honolulu had about 500. And the other branches may had 50, 40, 30, 20. And I just couldn't understand that. And talk about, like I said, when I came to Waihawa, the leadership, the education wasn't up to par.
Right.
And so and
I want to interrupt you for just a sec, because you've mentioned this a couple times, the leadership and education. What you're talking about education-wise is educating carriers, where when you were in Branch 1100, the carriers knew, we don't do this. This is why we don't do it. This is how we protect ourselves. And that's so critical. And that's what I try to do in Class as a Male, is the union spends a fair amount of effort educating stewards, but somehow it doesn't get down to the carriers.
Right.
And this is exactly what you're talking about. So I appreciate you bringing that.
No, I mean, I love what you do. I mean, that's so new to all of us. And I think it's great with you, Corey, and the Hot House, and, Rick Rock. I mean, even Fed Up. I mean, all this education is being put out for people who want to learn. Look, you can't make people drink water.
Right.
But you can you can put it out there and says, hey, if you want to learn about your contract, we used to have meetings after the retirement dinner in Honolulu. So so when I got to Honolulu.
So now we'll get back to
now I get to Honolulu, I become president, and I said, so the business agent would say, hey, Howard, can you go help Kaneohe? And I'm like, Kaneohe got to learn how to feed themselves.
Sure.
So I put that out there that, if you want to merge, you can be part of us. But see, when you have these branches, these little branches, it's about getting a bento once a year. It's about getting a lunch paid by the union. And I'm like, it's not about paying for lunch or they're having a barbecue for you. It's about education and you not being fired for stuff that we should know. So Branch 860, when I became president, probably had about $50,000.
Okay.
Which is not a lot.
Yeah.
But, they would spend it at the conventions. We have a retirement dinner. If you go to Branch 860, it's a pretty elaborate, it's like a wedding. So you're talking $40,000 a year. That's my predecessor did before me. So I would have a hard time. I would rather give everybody $2,000 and you have your own party.
Sure.
But, I that's the legacy. And so saying that, now I have about $500,000. We have a place. When I took over, our meetings were done at the YMCA. And we had no office space. Everybody did things at home.
Right.
I mean, so everything was, you had to rent it, or we never had steward training because we never had a place to do it.
Right.
So now we have a place where we rent. We have our meetings there. We have steward meetings. We do route inspection classes, whatever things are hot topics, retirement classes, OWCP classes, we can have it there. And so, I merged probably about 12, 13 other branches into my branch. I think there's still 4 on Oahu and 2 on the Big Island. I have all of Maui, which is Lahaina, Kahalui, in Wailuku. I have Lihui and Kapa'a out of Kauai. And we do a Zoom. So we kind of did Zoom before COVID.
This is something I wanted to talk about.
Yes.
Because in many cases, especially where you are, it's physically impossible for
Yes.
people to come to the branch meetings.
Yes.
And so you opened up the branch meetings so they could still be informed and take part.
Right. And let them know
Yeah.
what's going on. So, the way we got it, I was lucky that our next door neighbor was, he had a studio. So he set us up with cameras and we bought a television. So the people are like at the meeting.
Right.
We can see them on the television and they can see us.
That's
it's pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
And then in Kahului, they would meet at, let's say, your house, and you got 15 people at Johnny's house watching the meeting, and they're asking questions. And it was pretty awesome. This
is what it's about. Because right now you have branches that'll have 2,000 members in it, and you'll get 40 people show up at the meetings.
Right.
Because it's inaccessible, because it's not practical. You take, for example, I've had on guys from, I think it's branch 36, Charlie Hege's branch in New York City. And they have their meetings and their bylaws at 5 o'clock. And the start time there is 8:30. So carriers don't even get off work until 5. It's physically impossible for them to get to the meetings, but branch leadership, like it's been proposed, let's move our meeting times, and they're absolutely not interested, and they won't do Zoom. And so this is what we're pushing against as a movement, where we want people to be involved.
We want people to be involved because, and I know Charlie, he's an older gentleman now.
Right.
So how do you expect to bring young people if you can't appease them? You know what I mean? You can't help them get to where they need to get to, so we can all be better.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We can fight.
And it makes your job easier.
I tell you, I am so fortunate right now. I have an awesome chief steward. Her name is Susie McGinn.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, the guy I talked about going in penalty was the husband that they got married. Super smart lady. She's my route inspection guru. And I now have Landon Yoshikawa, just graduated from leadership. I have Emilia Rees. I got Wendell Tamaoka. I got a lot of young people coming up. Because I told them, come 2030 when we have the national, I'm done. I'm done being the president. I think 30 years is long enough.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to go back and do what I do, with the family and everything else, because this takes a lot of time. You don't just do president stuff or union stuff. When you're home, you're thinking about it. When you're looking at it. On your Saturdays, you're looking at it. It just, if you can educate everybody and teach them how to fish, I don't have to fish for them. You know
100%.
what I mean?
Yeah. So let's talk about when you brought in these other branches. One of the reasons that small branches resist mergers is because they know they're going to be iced out. They're going to be blackballed. They're going to have no role anymore in the union going forward. So how did you handle these mergers?
So, leadership, the way I look at leadership is the cream always rises to the top.
Yeah.
If you're good in Kailua, you're going to be good in 860. The girl I mentioned, Susie McGinn, she's out of Kailua, one of the branches that I merged. My state president, Terry Kaulolu, was out of Kailua, who's now my secretary. My health benefit rep, Reedy Noy, is out of Kailua. Right. It comes from all over. Sherry Demesilio, one of my trustees, come out of Eva Beach. So it's all over, because leadership rises to the top.
That's it.
Not just with me, but with my people. And if I can educate them and make them smarter, makes my job so much easier.
That's it.
And so, I've been branch president 26 years, going on 27. But my job is easy because I have people stepping up. They're loyal to the cause. They're loyal to the letter carriers.
Yeah.
All I got to do is put it out there. And they'll get it done. I'm telling you, I got so many warriors now, which before I used to feel was just me.
Right.
But now I got so many soldiers now doing what they do, and they're lieutenants, and they're getting other soldiers.
You got to bring those people in.
Yeah.
So we talked about in the pre-interview, because I know you listen to Classes of Mail, Michael Brazenly, the dude's a fighter. He's aggressive, but he's also like a huge pain in the ass.
Sure. If I give you direction,
right,
and the way I tell my stewards is, you don't agree with me. You tell me why you need to go ahead with this grievance, because I'm looking at it. Maybe I need to withdraw this grievance, but you need to explain to me why. Like, I'll give you an example. There's like no lunches. They're denying no lunches, although we've won it multiple times in the DR team process, that they're denying no lunches. You only can take a no lunch if you go 8 hours.
Right.
Where the hell does it say that?
And it's nowhere. I've read the whole ELM. It ain't
so
in there.
now, so what you're doing now is I got to run the route to go 8 hours to take a no lunch so I can take my kid to the doctor.
Right.
And
it's management trying to be manipulative.
Yeah. So we grieve it and we win, and we win and we win. And now it's like, it's non-compliant already. I mean, but my guys, I said, if that's the issue, then file the grievance and I'll back you 200%.
That's it.
There was a time that I did most of the grievances and I would drive around to different stations and punch the desks. And then now we got, it just changed a lot. And I think with the new area VP and Westpac and everything's transparent, but still, we was number one in the country.
Wow.
Because of the carriers.
Yeah.
I remember the VOE, that was big. And now
the voice of the employee
voice
survey,
of the employee, but now it's, and I knew how to manipulate that to get what I want. You know what I mean? Oh, Howard, we're going to have to go a full-blown inspection. How many hours do you need? Well, we need 8 hours in the city and 3 hours here, or whatever. I said, I'll give it to you. We'll sign a letter. No route inspection.
Right.
Because I knew if we did a route inspection,
right,
we would
it's
lose a lot more.
A disaster.
Right?
Yeah.
So, just funny as time has changed and new leadership and the people they're promoting. Fuck, I got more times on my socks than they've been in the service. And they don't know. I mean, so.
Oh, the education gap between the union and management is enormous. Management doesn't know shit.
They don't know nothing. I mean, so we talked about, oh my goodness, I just lost it.
Oh, Michael?
Yeah, about, Michael and letting him do what he does. Right. And you just got to coach him.
Right.
And if you coach him in the right way, this guy's going to be a monster. He could be a leader. He has
been a monster.
But you got to coach him to get what you want. You're not going to, like I said, when I first went to the city, I was that monster.
Right.
I was that monster that went all over and tried to make management cry.
Right.
And now I'm now I'm presidential, right? But you want monsters.
Yeah. Take him and point him at management and just let him go.
Let him go. Bite him.
And so we've talked about Glenn, my former president. I know you were very close with Glenn.
Yes, I was.
And Michael would be a pain in the ass with Glenn. And Glenn had talked about, like, I don't want to let you be a steward anymore because you're such a pain in the ass. And Michael said, look, the amount that I argue with you, I'm arguing for the carriers. I'm arguing for my grievances. I argue 10 times as much with management. And however much you think I'm a pain in your ass, I'm a way bigger pain in their ass.
Right.
And Glenn got it. And he's like, all right, I got you.
I know. I think Glenn mentioned that guy to me, and he was like,
Michael makes an impression.
I gotta get this guy to be a killer. You know what I mean? And I said, well, you cannot hold him down. Right. Because then
he's just going to fight you.
Then he's going to fight you. And he loses that emotion,
Absolutely.
I mean, because his job ain't easy.
Yeah.
And, and some people just see things differently. And listen, I had to learn that too, that, like I said, I thought I was the only badass. And then I find out there's so many other people that are badasses. You just got
to give them a chance.
And some people are just different. They don't got to punch the desk.
Right.
Like Susie McGinn.
Okay.
She'll kill you in a pen. If you ever saw her grievances, OMG. The management don't even want to talk to her because you need to look at Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C.
Awesome.
I mean, she's just a killer. And she's training now my other stewards, my former A reps. And like I said, I was full-time doing that half the time. Now I got 4 formal A's doing that. I got stewards not even delivering mail. I mean, it's like, we're going to punish you. Right. Not only we're going to nail you on the contract, we're going to punish you on the hours because you used to make us do it. And why the hell am I going to run my route, meet you in the afternoon, where I'm the one sweating and smell stinky and never eat lunch because I'm meeting you? Bullshit.
Yeah. It needs to be painful for management.
Yes.
That's exactly
right. If not, they're not going to get it.
100%.
Yeah.
All right. So I think my listeners are able to get a sense of your character, where you're coming from, why you're a CLC guy, and you know what drives you, and that's fantastic. So I want to conduct a little bit of business before we get out of here. Remind you guys, Howard Komine is running for trustee on the CLC tickets. When you get that ballot, it's going to be him, David Grosskopf, and remind me who's the third?
John Cruz.
John Cruz,
the killer.
Right. There you go. Right, and these are all people who we know are fighters and who stand up for their carriers. So if people want to support the CLC, in addition to voting, which is the voting's the easy part.
Sure.
How do they support the CLC to help you guys get your message out?
Well, go on the website, TLC. I think we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and endorse and support. And you can donate.
Right.
And we need your donation so we can get the vote out and get the retirees to vote our way. Because, you look at Brian and they see him all over Postal, Record. And it's, come on. We had that rally for what? Yeah, we don't even know what he's fighting for.
That's it.
And I don't get it. I don't get the guy.
I like the idea of rallying.
Sure.
It's something
but give us the reasons.
Exactly.
Give us how much money we want. What management has done.
What are we fighting for?
But what? We tell you no to a T8 and you ram it down our throats at a 1.3%. I don't know about anybody else. Did anybody get any money for COVID?
No,
everybody else did.
Yeah.
The people we were delivering to got money from COVID.
Right.
We didn't get shit. And what an opportunity to do that, to get us the money that we need.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. We just came out of a major pandemic. We were working every day. I mean, I was going to different offices with people positive, and I'm taking that to my family.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was just horrible.
Died.
Horrible. Carriers have passed away. Clerks have passed away.
Yeah.
And he was MIA.
Yeah, that's a truth.
So now you want to fight like hell.
Okay, so to support the people who are the fighters, on the CLC website, there's a place to donate.
Right.
But also, this is audio, so people can't see you, but you're wearing a shirt with a nice big bold CLC on it, the black and gold that people have come to know. Tonight, when you come to our union meeting, I'm going to be wearing a CLC polo. So where do people get stuff like that?
Yeah, that's also on the website.
Right on.
And they can go and order CLC shirts, hats.
Right.
They even got shorts now.
Yeah.
Shorts are pretty sick.
So there's a link from Concerned Letter Carriers that goes to a site called clcapparel.com,
Yes, sir.
and that's where they get that stuff.
They can order jackets.
I saw
hoodies.
the cargo shorts. Yeah, the hoodies.
They got those. I mean, we don't need them, but
the beanies. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny from Hawaii. You can't even think of what they're called.
Yeah, like what? Oh yeah. Cover your head. Yeah.
Yes, David Grosskopf. He's like, well, you got a beanie, you got a toque, you got a trapper's hat, you got.
He got Speedos. I think they made him Speedos. Just kidding.
Right. All right, and then if you get this CLC merch, like we're going to do tonight, wear it to the branch meetings.
Yes, sir.
Show your support so that people see you're not alone. That oh, I like this. I don't want to be the only one. When you start wearing it out, now people are like, oh, Alan supports the CLC too.
Yeah, we have CLC nights at my branch meeting because my branch endorses the CLC.
Right.
They made a motion and we have meetings that they all wear it. All
That's
the stewards wear it.
Right.
And we take a picture and I think it's on the website.
Right.
We had like 35 guys all wearing it.
That's
Listen,
awesome.
Carriers are good. You just got to explain and communicate to them the things that we need so we can get it done.
Yeah.
I'm number one in COSEP, or Letter Carrier Political Fund.
That's amazing.
I just tell the carriers, this is going to benefit you. If everybody gave to the Letter Carrier Political Fund, we'll be able to buy our CCA time back, our TE time back. And you would have, instead of 30 years in, you would have 34 years in. And that makes a difference when you get to be my age. It makes a difference. Every $50 matters.
Yep.
And so, everybody should give. And like I said, sorry, but
That's
getting
all right.
back to that rally, I just, my members voted not to do it.
Okay.
And I have to respect them, even though we could have, done something with our message. But it's hurtful because it becomes a political stunt. It becomes, I'm just doing it so I can get voted on. He's all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
He's all over the country doing this and doing that. And what? You didn't listen to us.
Right.
And look, you're not fighting for us because we would get more than 1.3%.
Yeah.
I was at the Cleveland rap session, and I promise, if you heard him speak, it sounded like it was management.
Making their argument for him. Yeah.
Management doesn't have money.
Right.
Are you kidding me? If I ask my wife for money, she's going to tell me she doesn't have money and she got a big fat account. I just, the rules of the road, right? Everybody's going to say they broke.
Yeah.
But I don't get it. Then, when I started, you had one supervisor. Now you got 3 supervisors. Get rid of them.
Right.
Geez, pay us the right. Get off this.
Yeah, how can management make the argument when so much more, the mail volume is down and so much more is being done by automation, so much more of their job is being done by computer, yet somehow we get more and more managers? It's ass backwards.
It's kind of like this OIG report.
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? That in itself is $1 billion.
Yeah.
If you police your people and hold them accountable and make things work, we would have plenty money.
Yeah.
Plenty money.
One of the most damning things in that report was that there is technically training for management on how to handle grievances, how to comply, and management doesn't take the training. There was like 5% or 10% had actually done the training.
Right.
And there's your problem.
Oh, that's why. It's a toxic work environment. They think bullying you and holding you down is going to get people productive.
Right.
You know what? We're not stupid.
Right.
You keep starting my time later and you're thinking I'm going to come back in 8 hours so you'll make your deal. After a while, my wife going to pick up the kids and now I'm going to work that overtime.
And how is it that we have half as much mail as we used to have, but somehow we have to come in later because it's not ready?
Oh, yeah. Funny, DPS. Yeah. All the mail is done. Right. I used to always argue with management. We went to DPS, but we start later.
Right.
Oh, wait.
How does it take longer?
22 minutes to load your parcels. How does that work when Johnny got 10 parcels and Howard got 80 parcels?
Yep.
But they both held to 22 minutes.
It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Anyway.
All right. So if these issues, listener, are important to you, which I know they are because you're listening, support the CLC. Go onto their website. Even if it's something like, I know not everybody has the money to buy a shirt or to donate, but even if you just name yourself as an endorser, I guarantee you carriers go onto that website and they scroll down looking for their branch number. And they say, who else in my branch believes in this cause? And then when they see your name there, that helps the CLC. That helps us to move forward.
Yeah, we need to change, brothers and sisters. We need to change. Yep. We can't keep doing this because we're sliding off the mountain. We need to be back on top of that mountain and own this USPS and give them the direction, not them giving us the direction. CLC, you know what? Like I said, James Henry is our future. Corey Walton, we need to get back to educating our membership. Kamisha Lewis.
Yeah.
But that lady's rugged, sweet lady.
Yeah.
But I would hate to deal with her because she'll chop you up in little pieces with a smile. So we need to get these people in there. And like I said, I'm in the fight right now to get us where we was, not get us. We need to get back to where we was and stop doing the good old boy thing with Renfro and his people.
Yep. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it. Howard, thank you very much for coming on to Classes of Mail.
Oh, no, my pleasure, bro. I love watching your stuff on
on
what, Spotify?
Spotify, or it's on iTunes. It's everywhere else too.
Okay.
But
I see it on Spotify.
Guy. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And tell your partner I said what's up.
I will for sure, and you'll see him tonight.
Oh, okay, good. Good.
All right. So thank you guys very much for listening, and we will catch you all next time.
All right.